before the game, the players came out without their warm-ups on with shirts that said, "Pay us what you owe us."
The money side of professional sports. What's at stake and where things stand with the WNBA and its players union in collective bargaining negotiations. Plus, Indiana lands a big chunk of GE Aerospace's billion-dollar investment plan, what it means for Indy, Lafayette, and Terre Haute.
There wasn't a future. I was going to spend all of my 20s and 30s in prison.
And breaking cycles and building dignity, how women behind bars in Indiana are gaining skills to get into the workforce. We also look back on the career of a serial health entrepreneur whose talents saved numerous lives. Inside Indiana Business is next.
From Indiana's business news leader, this is IBJ Media's Inside Indiana Business with Gary Dick, presented by Elevate Ventures, Indiana University, and the Indiana Association of Realtors.
You have to be very intentional, and if you have questions, you can reach out to those people, and there's certainly been people that I've reached out to and had communication with, so I think you just rely on that and rely on the people that are in those positions that you trust them, and they're going to do the best representing the entire group.
Indiana Fever superstar Caitlin Clark on trust in her WNBA comrades to get a deal done. Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick. That collective bargaining deal between the WNBA and its players union still being hammered out as we record our show this week. Negotiations have centered around both sides and money. WNBA players want a bigger piece of the pie, retired player benefits and team-provided housing. The league suggesting that player demand would result in big losses as it expands. Now, this is right in the wheelhouse of IU Columbus Associate Professor of Finance Ryan Brewer. Done a lot of work on valuations of college sports teams and others around sports. Ryan, always great to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you.
Get your perspective on something that this is a big deal.
It's a very big deal. Last year, for the first time, the WNBA turned a profit. And I think this community in particular knows that one of the main reasons for that was the 2024 drafting of Caitlin Clark out of Iowa. She came in as a juggernaut to the league. And for the first time, we started seeing arenas fill up. Not the small arenas, but the big NBA-sized arenas start filling up, especially when the Fever were in town. Consequently, attendance up 48% overall. Indiana Fever, attendance up 300%. Orders of magnitude across viewership, merchandise. It finally exploded. It's like a big plane taking off. And for 20 years, it was on the runway. And then COVID hit. And then we came out of COVID and Caitlin Clark arrived and the plane started taking off. And we're in takeoff mode right now.
Yeah. So the stakes are high, obviously. This is a bit of a gambit by the players. That, you know, a lot is made about the losses the league has sustained. But as you say, new TV contract, a profit being turned. They want to get their piece of the pie now. Your thoughts on the gamble, if you will?
Right. It's a very interesting situation because for the first time there's a lot of money in the pot, and both sides are looking at it with wisdom and with some excitement as to what to do. And understandably, the players want the money. And understandably, the league wants to protect the league. And we have to grow carefully so the plane can continue to take flight, get to a proper altitude, and then go from there. So generally speaking, with a business, you want about 5 to 7 years of consistent cash flow growth and stability. And that's what the league is trying to protect. They're offering about 4 times the salary that the players earned last year. And the players want a little bit more because there's more money there. The reinvestment costs money. We're doing expansion. There are 2 more teams entering the league this year. So it's definitely a very interesting situation.
Just a few months ago, I had the opportunity to talk with Hall of Famer Tamika Catchings, who was very involved in the collective bargaining process as a member of the Fever, and asked her to get her take on the labor situation.
They have to do what's right, not only for the players, but more importantly for the league, because the league is something that we want to sustain for years. The WNBA was still a fairly young league, and we've had a lot of growth in the last 3 to 5 years, which is amazing. Now it's like, okay, how do we continue to have that growth? Pay the players what they deserve. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so kind of reinforcing what you just indicated. And when you think about Tamika Catchings and the Indiana Fever and what has been built there, the implications for the Fever are big. Certainly, they've got Caitlin Clark. They've got the makings of a great team. Ticket sales, merchandise sales, great. Downtown, a new training center for the Fever. Folks are coming downtown. A delayed season would have impact there.
Yeah, there's a lot of risk because what we see is that the local proprietors are now, built up to kind of expect that summer business. So that's another impact on Indianapolis. But the whole thing really hinges on, you want everybody to be a little bit unhappy when they get to the middle. And after they've had a couple of weeks to digest wherever they end up, they're going to be happy. But what they don't want to do is they don't want to set the season back and cancel the season. I think there's a lot on the line right now, and everybody's going to have to share in this pot. So they'll probably end up in the middle someplace, and the sooner the better. Because we want to see these players start to get back into the gym and start working out for the season.
With you on that, Ryan Brewer, IU Columbus is always great perspective.
My pleasure. Thank you, Gary.
Well, the Indiana Fever's $78 million sports performance center, I mentioned a moment ago, it's beginning to take shape in downtown Indy. The 3-story facility will feature state-of-the-art amenities focused on training and well-being for the athletes. It will eventually connect to Gainbridge Fieldhouse via Skybridge and is part of an emerging Fieldhouse district in downtown Indy, expected to open next year.
Back to Lovejoy, 2 seconds, blocked by Pickett with .5 to go.
Well, Wright State men and Green Bay women are this year's Horizon League champions, and next year's competition is going to be in a new venue right here in Indiana. The league announcing this week it's moving its second round, semifinals, and championships to the arena at Innovation Mile in Noblesville. That starts next year. The venue opened last year. Mayor Chris Jensen on what it takes to get the event in Noblesville.
I think the facility itself is a key differentiator, but I think the people, I think our team in Noblesville are going to be aggressive and bullish about telling America's hometown's story. And being a part of a larger conversation. I will say when I took office 6 years ago, that sports economy was certainly a part of the conversation, but has been blown out of the water by the boom, by USA Gymnastics, now by the Horizon League.
That partnership with Noblesville extends through 2031. The league, which is headquartered in Indianapolis, has been playing its championship games at the Corteva Coliseum at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. Well, up next, we kick into high gear with a look at the latest major aerospace investment in Indiana. What GE Aerospace's $65 million commitment to the state to grow its footprint here will mean for 3 facilities around the state and the state's economy. That's when we come back.
Whether you're buying or selling a home, the stakes are high. Realtors are market experts who do business by a higher code of ethics, and we're invested in Indiana because we're also your neighbors. Now here's the latest statewide real estate report.
In 2025, the number of homes for sale across Indiana hit a 6-year high, with new listings jumping nearly 10% in the last 2 years. Homes also stayed on the market about 4 days longer than 2024, 2 weeks longer than back in 2021. Buyers have more options and more time to find the right home heading into 2026. But patience is paying off for home sellers as Indiana property values continue to climb. Indiana is still one of the most affordable states for home ownership. The mortgage payment on a typical recent home purchase equals about 34% of our median monthly household income.
Today, you either innovate or evaporate. We are accelerating the pursuit of progress. From the foods we eat to the heights we soar, because this is Indiana, the innovation capital of the world. We rally visionaries across industries, investing connections as much as capital, and fuel our founders from dorm room to boardroom. Fuel your innovation with Elevate Ventures.
Well, Indiana's burgeoning aerospace sector with big names like Rolls-Royce, Bombardier, Honeywell Aerospace, fueling what is a multi-billion-dollar industry in the state and growing. This week, another major player, GE Aerospace, providing a $65 million vote of confidence and reinforcing the Hoosier State as an aerospace manufacturing hub. With demand for commercial and military aircraft engines surging, Facing a nearly $200 billion backlog in orders, GE Aerospace says it will invest $1 billion in its U.S. operations, with the potential to add 5,000 jobs. In Indiana, $65 million will fuel upgrades and expanded production at 3 sites. In Indianapolis, $43 million for new machines, tooling, and upgrades at the aerospace giant's West Side plant. $15 million will go to a longtime components plant in Terre Haute, and another $7 million at the company's Lafayette plant, home to assembly of the popular LEAP engine, which powers some of the world's most popular aircraft.
We do full final assembly of those engines here in Lafayette. We receive in the subcomponents from suppliers, all around the country, all around the world. We do final assembly, and then we send those off for tests and then ultimately on to the customer. Demand is strong. Customers are flying. The flying public is happy with the products that we provide. And we take a lot of pride in being able to provide those to the flying public. Something pretty neat when you look at GE as a whole, at any point in time, we have over 1 million people that are in the air with GE power under wing. So like you said, demand is strong, and that's a huge responsibility for all of us to keep those people flying.
The investment is viewed as a boost to Indiana's emerging role in the global aerospace and defense supply chain and an ecosystem of high-skilled, high-wage jobs.
It's the number one, absolute, hands down, full stop, most important thing. The people that we have employed here, specifically in Lafayette, are the key to our success. They're key to everything we do. Like you said, it's a very high skill set. Specifically here in Lafayette, we've committed money to the local Greater Lafayette Career Academy to help set up a program to get people ready for these types of highly skilled jobs. And then locally, we've also created an apprentice program. So launched back in 2022, we've actually taken people from the local community who didn't have prior aviation experience but had that manufacturing knowledge, brought them into our shop, trained them up on how to maintain these power plants, and ultimately earned their power plant license from the FAA at the culmination of the program.
GE Aerospace is not saying how many jobs the investment could mean in Indiana, but with facilities that make parts, assemble engines, and service aircraft here, the number is expected to grow. Well, to high-tech power on 4 wheels now, and the inaugural IndyCar race on the streets of Washington, D.C. It's this summer. We're learning more details about IndyCar's plans for the Freedom 250 race. Releasing the track layout and design for the Freedom 250 Grand Prix, set to run in late August in D.C. to celebrate the 250th signing of the Declaration of Independence. The race will take drivers zipping past some of the most prominent landmarks in D.C. Well, still ahead, giving the gift of life through organ donations. See how new technology in Indiana is making it possible for marginal lung donations to now be viable for transplant. Details in the Business of Health. Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick, coming to you this week from Northwest Indiana, Jeffersonville, Muncie, South Bend, in downtown Evansville, Terre Haute, Fort Wayne, Richmond, from one of the state's key entrepreneurial and innovation hubs, 16 Tech. Inside Indiana Business, Indiana's business news leader.
Today, you either innovate or evaporate. We are accelerating the pursuit of progress. From the foods we eat to the heights we soar, because this is Indiana, the innovation capital of the world. We rally visionaries across industries, investing connections as much as capital, and fuel our founders from dorm room to boardroom. Fuel your innovation with Elevate Ventures.
The challenges are real.
Type 2 diabetes rising
Small
faster
businesses
among
need help. Alzheimer's cases rising as population.
Solutions. They said it'll never happen.
It's too hard. Nothing will change.
Can't compete. You'll never solve it.
And we said, watch us.
Been a while.
while. What have you been up to?
Oh, you know.
Oh, I see it's not flossing. I just added some secret weapons to my toolkit.
Huh?
They help me drill down further, digging deeper than I ever could before. Into my business and personal finances with Lake City Bank Digital.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Now let's take care of that tooth.
Add sharper tools for your money with Lake City Bank Digital.
You are all set, Brian.
I'm Devin.
One moment can change everything. One decision can save lives.
Indiana Pacers superstar Tyrese Halliburton leading the charge on getting the word out about organ donations. And now there's new technology being used in Indiana to make marginal lungs viable for transplant. Business of Health reporter Kylie Valletta here now with more. Kylie.
Well, thank you, Gary. An Indiana man's donated lungs saved the life of another Hoosier thanks to a new technology now being used at the Indiana Donor Network. Several other organ transplant centers declined the lungs, but Indiana Donor Network was able to make the lungs viable again using a new perfusion machine. A Swedish company and Wisconsin-based company developed the system, which gives oxygen and nutrients to the lungs to basically rescue them.
It is just one more thing for us to ensure that we are absolutely transplanting every organ that has been authorized to maximize those gifts and saving someone's life. Without doing this, we would have had, lungs that would not have been accepted. Lungs being accepted is truly directly saving someone's life.
And this makes Indiana the first organ recovery organization in the U.S. to establish an in-house lung perfusion system. Indiana Donor Network also has devices for kidney and liver perfusion. The life sciences industry in Indiana is missing one of its greatest visionaries. Purdue University's Dr. Philip Laauo, who we've had the great pleasure of interviewing many times here inside Indiana Business, passed away in recent days. While it's impossible to capture his contributions in time frames set by TV, we take a brief look at the fingerprints he left on Indiana's life sciences landscape. Dr. Laauo's 50-year legacy at Purdue changed not only the campus, but the world, commercializing life-saving treatments for people with cancer.
What's even more rewarding, frankly, are the emails that I frequently receive from patients that benefit from these medicines. They acknowledge how much it has helped their health and how happy they are and how it enables them to, be with their families longer and enjoy a better quality of life. So that's extremely rewarding.
A serial entrepreneur who founded 7 companies during his time at Purdue, Dr. Laauo was the university's Presidential Scholar for Drug Discovery and the Ralph C. Corley Distinguished Professor of Chemistry. From making cancer literally light up for surgeons.
When you turn on the fluorescent lamp, then those lesions light up like bright stars against a black sky.
To his biggest deal by business standards in 2018, when he sold one of his companies, Endocyte, for $2 billion to Novartis. It led to the development of prostate cancer drug Pluvicto.
I believe it will be the major method for treating prostate cancer for many years in the future.
If you've been diagnosed with metastatic prostate cancer and have tried hormone therapy, ask your doctor about Pluvicto.
Pluvicto is the first blockbuster drug in the radiopharmaceuticals field. Made in Indianapolis, the drug is credited for launching what has now become Indy's claim to fame as the largest cluster of radiopharmaceutical companies in the country. And Laauo never showed signs of slowing down.
Ideas come to me very easily and very rapidly, and I have so many really good ideas for treating such diseases as rheumatoid arthritis, Alzheimer's, influenza. So I would feel that almost negligent of me to retire now and not do what I can do for people that are still suffering from these various, pathologies and maladies.
His passion to bring discoveries from lab to life lives on at Purdue. Just 1 year ago, Laauo and his wife donated $20 million to create the Laauo Institute for Therapeutics, continuing the mission of one of Purdue's greatest pioneers.
Well, in addition to his amazing career, what he accomplished, he was just a kind soul.
He just wore his heart on his sleeve, and you could see his heart in his work. He felt like I would always tease him, when are you going to retire? And he would say, I have this gift. I feel a duty to keep using it to help people. And he loved his family. He had 5 kids, 19 grandchildren. He loved his Purdue basketball. And he just, when you would talk to him, when you would interview him, it was just uplifting. You felt better about the world after you spoke to him. And he had such a warm heart. I will miss him. He was one of my favorite people to interview. I will really miss talking to him.
I agree. You mentioned Purdue basketball, Purdue football too. He was a huge sports fan.
Oh yeah, he played basketball at Brigham Young. I mean, he's tall. I don't know if you've ever seen him in person.
I didn't know that.
Yes, he played basketball at Brigham Young, and so I think that's probably where his basketball passion comes from. So he was just a joyful character.
Agreed. Great report. Thanks, Kylie.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back.
We are bringing the power of this to this with a new IBJ Media app. For the first time ever, you'll be able to get the Indiana Lawyer, Inside Indiana Business, and the Indianapolis Business Journal all in one place wherever you go. All across the state of Indiana, IBJ Media provides the news you need to know, and we're doing it now directly to your phone. To be a part of this, you can find it on your favorite app store. Just search IBJ Media.
Whether you're buying or selling a home, the stakes are high. Realtors are market experts who do business by a higher code of ethics, and we're invested in Indiana because we're also your neighbors. Now here's the latest statewide real estate report.
In 2025, the number of homes for sale across Indiana hit a 6-year high, with new listings jumping nearly 10% in the last 2 years. Homes also stayed on the market about 4 days longer than 2024, 2 weeks longer than back in 2021. Buyers have more options and more time to find the right home heading into 2026. But patience is paying off for home sellers as Indiana property values continue to climb. Indiana is still one of the most affordable states for home ownership. The mortgage payment on a typical recent home purchase equals about 34% of our median monthly household income.
Challenges are real.
Type 2 diabetes rising
Small
fast.
businesses need help. Alzheimer's cases rising as population.
Solutions.
They said it'll never happen.
It's too hard. Nothing will change.
Can't compete.
You'll never solve it.
And we said, watch us.
Today, you either innovate or evaporate. We are accelerating the pursuit of progress. From the foods we eat to the heights we soar, because this is Indiana, the innovation capital of the world. We rally visionaries across industries, investing connections as much as capital, and fuel our founders from dorm room to boardroom. Fuel your innovation with Elevate Ventures.
Well, as we go around Indiana this week, traveling across Indiana on Interstate 70 free could become a thing of the past in a few years. Indiana Governor Mike Braun proposing tolling as a way to pay for widening the interstate to 6 lanes. Under the proposal, a car would pay about $15.60 to drive across Indiana. The state's application seeking federal approval for I-70 tolling outlines $6.5 billion in road improvements, and the governor has said tolling would be a way to pay for it. Drivers could potentially begin paying tolls starting in early 2029, with the highway upgrades on I-70 being done over the course of 8 to 10 years. That according to the application that was submitted to the Federal Highway Administration. Well, Gamma Meccanica is an Italian-based company that makes plastics recycling equipment and also recycles and processes plastic materials. It's marking 1 year doing business in Anderson. The facility in Madison County, which focuses on research and development, is the company's only location in North America. Gamma Meccanica says it recently processed about 40,000 pounds of plastics for an Anderson company.
And we ran that for them and turned it all back into pellets. And now they're back in their process, testing it and adding it to their system. So that's 40,000 pounds of plastic that didn't need to go to a landfill. And it saves them a lot of money too, because they can reuse that material.
Gamma Mechanica also adding to the international business presence in Anderson. That Anderson location is the company's only in North America and includes a showroom allowing customers to bring in materials for testing and processing. To Northeast Indiana now, where Indiana's egg industry is getting a boost. A new $20 million egg processing facility just hatched in Kendallville. Herbrick's Poultry Ranch is a fourth-generation egg producer. It will be able to process, get this, 420 million eggs annually when at full capacity. That facility expected to generate new jobs to the tune of about 60 positions and will allow Herbrick's to distribute eggs directly to retail customers. And a big feather in the cap for the city of South Bend's outreach efforts to connect people with government services. South Bend named one of 24 winners of Bloomberg Philanthropies Mayor Challenge for how it uses artificial intelligence to deliver essential services to people who live there. The city's 311 system is one of 24 selected by Bloomberg out of more than 630 applications from around the globe. That designation means South Bend will get $1 million to scale its 311 initiative.
At the Televerde Foundation, we help incarcerated and formerly incarcerated women build new futures for themselves and their families.
Michelle Sirico, from prison cell to CEO, how she's using her time behind bars to help create career paths for women once they get out. Michelle has come a long way since her time behind bars. She is a graduate, this is a great story, a graduate of the Televerde Foundation's Career Paths program, and she now runs it. Televerde is a 6-month initiative that provides the skills and business tools that women in prison need to be successful in the workforce once they're released.
We have this idea of gaining our freedoms, and we look at you from a financial, relational, emotional person, and all of these other pieces of the pie to help develop you as this resilient, wonderful human who can go out and have all the workforce needs that the state desperately needs.
Well, 32 women serving time across 3 Indiana Department of Corrections facilities graduated from Televerde's Career Paths program earlier this year. We should mention that when you look at workforce development in the state of Indiana, certainly a critical piece of the Indiana economy, helping those serving time, those incarcerated, to kind of re-engage in the community is a big push and can have an impact on workforce development around the state. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Inside Indiana Business. We leave you this week with St. Patrick's Day right around the corner. We leave you with some Irish cheer in Crown Point, where they celebrate St. Paddy's Day with a nighttime parade. Go out and make it a successful week.
Type
2 diabetes rising
Small
fast.
businesses need help. Alzheimer's cases rising as population.
Solutions.
They said it'll never happen.
It's too hard. Nothing will change.
Can't compete.
You'll never solve it.
And we said, watch us.
Been a while. What have you been up to?
Oh, you know.
Oh, I see it's not flossing. I just added some secret weapons to my toolkit.
Huh?
They help me drill down further, digging deeper than I ever could before. Into my business and personal finances with Lake City Bank Digital.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Now let's take care of that tooth.
Add sharper tools for your money with Lake City Bank Digital.
You are all set, Brian.
I'm Devin.
Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick, coming to you this week from Northwest Indiana, Jeffersonville, Muncie, South Bend, in downtown Evansville, Terre Haute, Fort Wayne, Richmond, from one of the state's key entrepreneurial and innovation hubs, 16 Tech. Inside Indiana Business, Indiana's business news leader.